Good morning, Dark, and everybody else, if anybody else is here. Go on stream, that one. Good. No, I think it's just you, Dark. Alright, bear with me while I get set up. Right, let's get all this done. Ground services. Right, a bit more of an interesting one today, down to Calvi, which is a Cat C airfield down in Corsica. So there's not many passengers planned. Airframe. Why? Someone answer me this. Why does it never save the settings? It always gives me things I don't want. I don't want LDAV. That I want. That I want. Ice detection we don't have. I say safe default and it still never does it. Controls. That's those. That. Good. Save. I don't know. Okay. Alright, let's get my controls set up. Yeah, good, that all works. Alright, have a cold and dark setup. Now make sure we're doing all this properly. Yeah, that's all off. That's all off. Go away. That's all done. Landing gears down. Good. Electrics look good. You can go on, you can go on. You can go on. Give you a second for the flight order computers. Turn Gav mode off. Each save config is different. Yeah, I know, but I fly the same livery, Dark. So this is the livery I flew yesterday. And it's still not saved from what I did yesterday. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, it's not too much of a hassle to sort it out. So we got ATIS, good. So we 121975. And towers on 18625. Good. How do I go backwards? Aha, there we go. See it. Now we can see it a bit better now. Right, so if we do that, we should see the ecam come up on there. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now it's come up. That should have worked. No. Finally learning how to use my buttons. What are we doing? That's those can come on. That's on. And that's on. Everything looks like it's working. Your mic is a little close. Okay. Is that a little bit better? I need to get another microphone. Thanks for putting that on the Discord. I need to keep remembering to do that. I keep forgetting. Right. So let's do the. just going to set everything up before I talk about it. Distance. Morning, Mary. Good. Manchester, Calvi. This is the alternate. Easy. 0894 Alpha Charlie. Index 4. Winds. Please. Flight plan. Morning does no. What are we? 4430. Time of departure is 22 as well, 50 minutes. I'm not going to load anybody just yet, because there's no need. What am I doing? 54.1. What's the alternates? Nice. 1.3. Look. Right plan. Departure. Oh, they got us departing on. Hey, chill out. Flight channel, morning Arthur. Is that mic better dark as well? I don't know, yeah, probably was swallowing it, wasn't I? There you go, Manchester. 23 rights. 10k scattered. It's looking good, 19 degrees. 1010. Lovely. 23 minutes. Sample on radio. And the arrival. This is going to be an interesting one because there are a few 1/8 at the minute. Okay, that's straight in, so that might be a bit more straightforward. I'm just going to put anything in for a minute because I need to look at this and so I need to brief this a bit more thoroughly in a second. 39,000 feet. Minus 56. Yeah. Let's see. Paris is, yeah, it's really close enough. Hey Terry, hey Bon. Right, that's in, that's in. Don't really need anything there. GCC 2, 3, right. Perfect, come back to fuel. I don't think this is going to work. I think, as we said yesterday, that until the RS is aligned, this doesn't work. No. How long we got? 4 minutes. Okay. I can do the secondary though. I know this because I wrote it, so it's just standard straight aheads and then some Mersey. So let's go engine fail. No, the dyslexic engine fail. Engine fail. Yeah. Fail. There we go. 03. GCC 2, 3. Right. What's a QDM? Anybody knows a QDM? Doesn't really matter too much. 3.6 in use at the minute. Yeah, I think it's interesting, you know, because the winds are sort of changing around a bit today. So 3.6 would be the more interesting approach, which is the harder approach, which is more fun. But 1.8 is a bit more easy. But I mean, the brief on this is pretty comprehensive. So we'll come back to that. Let's just look at Manchester. I'm not going to brief too much on the ground because most of it can be done in the air. 232. 232, 15 miles. Store, thank you. Engine fail. EGCC. And it's Mersey, which I believe is that spelling. What's the hold though? That's one thing I don't know. You've got the emergency procedures on their hand at the minute. Briefing room. Manchester. Two 3 rights, 18 on street right into Mersey, and then holds there. Inbounds are 6-1 right turns. This is probably on the chart, could have just done it that way. So 6-1 right turns, thank you. And back in for 2-3 rights. 2-3 rights, that'll do, just an RLS. Symmetry. Zero, 19 degrees, that can't be the wind. 240 at 12, yeah. And I could get the chart up. Aha, yeah. I got. Yeah, didn't I put Mersey somewhere in Germany originally? Notification bell seems to be broken. Okay. I didn't even know there was a notification bell. Manchester. Ground chats. Airports. Stands. Departure. Sandbar. That one. Yeah. Approach. Let's do 3 rights. Let's do lock 2-3 right, that one there. 449. Good, 844. Yeah, that's a couple of miles off, that looks good. So that is pretty much it. 1010. Now we're looking at another 40 minutes until we've got to go. Shouldn't take too long to fuel up. Right, let's have a little chat about Calvi then. As soon as we've got 10 minutes, we need to do anything. Let's get these up. Let's get some charts. Not Nice, Donut, that one. Let's have a look at MRC, because that might be a bit better to start with. Just a bit of situational awareness. No, it isn't, because that's useless. Arrival, is that any better? A little bit better. Lock, that's a little bit better. Right, so they're all RMP approaches. So it's a localizer approach to runway 18, RMP Zulu. That'd be pretty good. So yeah, we can land straight in off that one. So, morning Mark. Let's have a look, see what it says. Raw is here again. Posty. Quiet you. It's the Posty. He's a nice Posty. Are you going to ring the door? Or are you just going to post it? Anyway, alright. Calvi. So, when is this? Just post. Good. Right, excellent. So yeah, Calvi's Cat's airfield. So this is a bit of an interesting place to go to. I've never actually been there personally, but it's certainly good fun. I've just got some scenery for it as well, so hopefully it's going to look pretty good. So, what are you doing? Open up my bloody letters. So it's Cat C. The reason it's Cat C is because there's terrain and there's a specific bulk landing procedure on 1018, simply because of the terrain. So we can see this down here. If you need to do a go-around or a bulk landing, you've got a lot of high terrain immediately to the south, so you're going to have to fly effectively an escape manoeuvre, which I think is to the left. I'll double check that in a second, but just basically out towards the sea. And there's obviously a visual approach to runway 36 as well, because you can't actually have any instrument approaches coming in. I wonder if they'll ever do any RMPAR, because that might work. Anyway, so all the captains have to be qualified and meet the recency requirements to operate into here, which doesn't actually apply to me because I've not actually been here, but there we go. Shits and giggles, it's the same, so I can do what I want. Reference to the Cat C aerodrome qualification. Right, contact ops needs to do. Don't need to do that. Boarding or refueling is permitted. Good. So landing in daytime only, which is what we're doing. Authorised commanders only. No inexperienced first officers, no training flights, unless it's for aerodrome qualification or revalidation. Captain only takeoff, approach and landing, that makes sense. Takeoff restrictions, so crosswind limitations. So landing on runway 18 is a 30 knot crosswind. Landing on 36 is a 25 knots crosswind, maximum gust included. And takeoff on runway 36 is 30 knots as well. Now the actual runway I think is 45 metres, I think, so it's not particularly wide, so it's not a narrow runway. Let's have a look. 45, yeah, so it's a pretty decent length, 2,300 metres, 45, so there's no crosswind limitations because of the width. It's just simply because it's just a bit of an arse place to go into. Base reversers must be operative, so there's some limitations here just in terms of the aircraft, so the thrust reversers must be operative. EGPWS must be operative as well, so good, that all works. And the aerodrome is not to be used as a destination also or en route diversion. Single engine operations are not approved. So that's all good, because none of that really applies to us. Everything works. Control flight into terrain, there's a threat and error management. Ridges to the south, which we can see there. Visual 36 approach to 36 brings the aircraft very close to terrain on downwind and base leg. The ground rises above 2,000 feet, 2.5 miles west of the aerodrome. So there we go, this ridge here we can see, and certainly stuff to the south. So yeah, not an easy place, this one. Backtrack required both for landing and takeoff. On runway 36, I think probably landing on 180 would be fine. He's attacking the baggage loaders, yeah. Runway goes on base, turn and fine, or turn on 36 may require high rated descent to be established on final approach. So we may get a GPWS caution sink rate, so again I can talk about that further on. In-flight landing performance computation is required prior to starting the approach. Okay, so there's nothing really about dispatch landing performance, so that's looking pretty good. So we're reasonably quite lightweight anyway today, because it's not a particularly long flight. We don't have a lot of passengers. Where are we? So yeah, 119, 10 tons. Takeoff weight is no limitation for that. Landing weight looks like it's going to be structural max landing weight, which is good, so we're going to be well below that. Decent underload as well, so fuel's not going to be too much of an issue. Airborne conflicts. Oh, this is interesting. Aerodrome is also used by water bombers, Canadian, the Pelicans, those yellow things. So yeah, maybe this time of year there may be quite a few forest fires around Corsica, so it looks like they're quite a popular base for those water bombers. Aerodrome's significant VFR traffic and military activity. Parachute dropping of large troop transport airplanes, so that's interesting. Extensive use of the French language with local military traffic. Well, that's always a good one, because I only speak English, and whenever the Spanish and French talk in their local dialect, I haven't got a fucking clue what they're talking about, which for situational awareness is useless. Loss in control, missed approach, bulk landing procedures. Yeah, So obviously just got to be careful with that. And certainly arrival. What do we got? Missed approach procedures, backtrack requirements. ATC slot regulations. So holding. Runway 18 Pappy's at 3 degrees. Runway 18 has got 2% upslope. But the RMP Zulu 18 is the preferred approach, so you know if we can do that, we will. The wind really needs to be probably above 10 knots to consider using 3.6. Kind of misapproach backward landings, so we can discuss that later. So yeah, there is approaches for 3.6. Apparently there is an RNAV approach for 3.6 in the box. Or at least it is in our boxes, but I doubt it's in this. I doubt Navigraph has got the data. No, so we literally just have the runway and then the RNAV, RIP approaches. Okay, fair enough. So I'm not going to go too much about that. Departure, we won't talk about. I'm not going to do a return leg today, so it's just the arrival. Weather. Wind shear may be expected. Thunderstorms common during the summer. The northwest mistral wind found in the Rhone Valley is more likely to be oriented from the west in Corsica. May create significant turbulence and crosswinds. Okay, we'll look at the weather in a second. And during the summer, sea breeze prevails with northeasterlies or northerly winds developing from midday onwards. So yeah, potentially by the time we get there, it will be northerly winds. Runway 36 is typically used for landing after 11 o'clock local time, so that's going to apply to us by the looks of it, because we're going to be there after 11. So it's a very good chance that the winds, which I think it says on the forecast, they might be northerly, which again is pretty much backing this up. Not uncommon to have the wind direction reverse close to the ground, so it's only good for threat and error management, for bulk landings and possibly wind shear. Good, some pictures which I can look at. Good, okay, so that's the brief, pretty comprehensive. But we're not in a bad position. The weight's good. So in terms of fuel, let's see if we can look at the TAF weather. So what have you got on there? 350 at 6. We've already got that northerly wind. Cav OK, that's a good start. And forecast becoming in the morning 350 at 10. Yeah, and there we go. Some thunderstorms possibly develop in the afternoon. So yeah, it might be a bit of an interesting one. And then in the evening, as it cools down, wind's going to die off a little bit. So yeah, I mean with that, I'm quite happy to take a 6 knot tailwind on landings. So I'd be quite happy to do 1.8. But we can look at the landing distance performance and just see what happens in flight. Nice is the alternate Cav OK. I mean, this is probably commercial alternates are probably Bastia, a Jacko, but this is Catsi as well. She needs to be qualified to go into a Jacko. A Figari as well. I'm not sure on that one. I can't remember. I have to look at the brief. But Bastia, I don't think you need to be. So I mean, that's a good alternate, commercial alternate. So it's on the same island. They're all good as well. So that's great. Manchester, what we got? Typical summer. Broken clouds, rain. Yeah, lovely. Good old English summer. The en routes are all looking good. So that's looking nice. 39,000 feet. No TAMs. What we got? No TAMs. Manchester. Cranes. There's always cranes. At nights, 2-3 right to close. Okay, it's not going to apply to us. Dual runway ops. What day is it? I've got no idea what day it is. It's Wednesday, isn't it? Monday to Friday. So yeah, possibly 2-3 left, or the 80 said 2-3 rights. Parking. Oh, there we go. That's the no TAMs. Parking restrictions, good. Don't care about that. At least looks good. Cranes. RFFS. Yeah, it's good. That's all what we need. Bastia. I should probably prefer to go there. Taxi restrictions. Stands closed. Not much there either. So good. So the no TAMs are looking wonderful. En routes. I don't care about really. Yeah, I've read all these. COVID. Military activity. Firing somewhere. Probably the usual stuff. That was. Hang on a minute. I just want to make sure my plant hasn't come off the windowsill. Sorry guys, 1 minute. It was a plant that's come off the windowsill, so there's soil everywhere, so give me 2 minutes to clean it up. Right, sorry about that. Plant. Yeah, delay code. I was thinking that's all about bloody problems. A plant that was on the windowsill. The windows are open because it's bloody hot, and the blinds then blew the plant off, and then just saw goes everywhere. So before the dog decided to eat it. Anyway, so what was I on about? No terms are good. Let's get everyone going soon. Let's get this going before we do anything. So, I mean, the weather's good, apart from it being a Calvi airfield. Maybe thunderstorms around, so it might be worth looking at as well. This is all good. Right, so in terms of fuel, I think it's probably prudent to take a little bit extra, considering I've never been there before. It's Calvi, not too sure what runway we're going to be on. Might be thunderstorms around it as well. I don't think it's going to be a landing weight restriction. So if plug is 3, is it 7.5? Yeah. So I'm tempted. I'm going to be, I'm going to be pretty conservative on this. So I think an extra 10.5 would be good. So that'll certainly give me enough fuel for a bit of holding, a bit of weather avoidance, and certainly then enough for another go. And then I look at any of the other alternates. So I think 9 tons should be good. And then in terms of landing weight, we're going to be fine with that as well. So let's get 9 tons on. Yes, please, load. Real time. Good. Let's crack on. Chalk. Oh, at least that should rub off. I mean, it could be a Sharpie. I need to draw chalk all over my bloody car because there's scratches all over it when I picked it up. Take that back and tell them to sort it out. Anyway, right, that's good. We've done that. What was the initial stop altitude? What if ATC are going to stand by for me? Manchester. Departure star should be it. There we go. So what have we got for the stop? Pretty usual stuff in Manchester. And 5,000. Climb gradient's going to be fine. Good. Right, 5,000. Let's go to the stop altitudes. We've been on for a minute, I It should be nice, should we? Good job, yeah. We still got ATC. Yeah, we do good. That's very nice. Paranoid enough that the stroke was wrong. Okay, does that not work? Go back and guard then. $18,625. Alright, let's have a look at this load sheets. Right, what's the actual figures then? So, what do we got? So we wanted... That should work as well now. About 5 tons in 2 hours. Yeah, just a bit more. 5 tons 2 hours, that was good. So if I could save this for you, it'd be great for doing the load sheet. So anyway, that's good, that makes sense. 7.5, yeah, we're going to take 9. And so there's a few. So yeah, we've got an extra 43 minutes, 45, and that's going to be close to an hour by the time we get going. Anyway, so if you wait 54.1, so that's spot on. So again, nobody's decided to go anywhere. And CG is 30.3. Done. We have to take off weights. That's 60, 61. It's going to be a bit more than that, isn't it? Because it's preliminary. 61. 4 plus ton and a half. 63 tons-ish. As well, the 24 do to start with. Performance. Good job, yeah. So let's have a look at the perf. I think we can go mic figures. Too much. Yeah, we're parked up here on Pier Bravo, so mic will be fine. 2, 3 rights, dry for the time being. It's going to be 1, no, off. It's going to be about 63 tons. It's going to be about 28, probably a bit more full by the time of the fuel. Something like that, 2, 3, 20, so it's gone up now, good. There we go, good flex, 3640, excellent. 36, 140, 68. 36. 140. That one's 68 degrees. Edged out, yeah, it's about 1,000 feet, that's fine. And 1. That's it, so I think we're done now, so it's just waiting for the loading to be finished. Got about 19 minutes until we've got to go. Resets, I think everything else is ready. It's done. So let's see if the ATIS has been updated. They disappeared. They got offline. No, no, still. Yeah, so just chat to them. What's down? Stand 6. How much is the tower? Good morning, EC94 Alpha Charlie. We'll stand 6 confirmation. Bravo, I think it was. A320 requesting clearance to Calvi, please. Are they gone? $865. What you doing? How much is easy? I thought Alpha Charlie ready, check. Interesting. So my mic works, because you can hear me on the stream, can't you? So it's not the headset. I even sent him a private message. I wonder if anything will work on the guard. Easy 94 Alpha Charlie on guard radio check. Yeah, no, it does light up, Gav. It's, I mean, that's what's confusing me. Slamming the button. Just did one then. Okay, I'm not hearing anything. Interesting. So I'm not hearing. Ah, this is Com 1. I think you did a radio check when I'd gone on Unicom. Yeah, no, the transmit button's lighting up. Had to disconnect the okay. If that's the only problem. Starts. Okay, let's try that then. Disconnect. Do that. And let's try it again. There's VPilot, there it is. Well, if it's simple as that, then it's not a problem. Yes, it is lighting up. The transmission is lighting up. And you can obviously hear me, because so it's not the headset, or it's not any of those problems. And I've got to try again. It's funny, I couldn't hear anybody on the radios. And on we got 12 minutes. Yeah, it's fine. Now we don't have the boarding. Can't be far off. Almost there, yeah. Manchester Tower, Easy 9 for Alpha Charlie, radio check.
Farm nothing further for you now, when it's Unicom 122.8, good morning.
I would talk when somebody's transmitting on
Unicom 122.8, check. Advise you the front place of service for you.
Yeah, no, I think I sorted it. Manchester Tower, Easy 9 for Alpha Charlie, radio check.
Easy 9 for Alpha Charlie, Manchester Tower, good morning, readability 5.
Lovely, thanks very much, that's sorted it, cheers. Good, so that's done. Simple fix, turn it off, turn it on. How are we doing? Come on, people. Interesting, let's have a look. So we can do a look at landing distance calculation of the tailwind. Let's go good. Let's say it's going to be worst case. LFKC, runway 18. Tar now. Yeah, that'll work. Let's go medium water brake, full reverse, flat full, manual landing. And that doesn't seem to like it at all, I don't think. Oh, landing weight, yeah, that would help, wouldn't it? What's that landing weight going to be? So we're going to be about 56, probably about 58 tons-ish, worst case. Yeah, just always turn it off and on. 58 tons. Good, okay, well that's looking pretty good actually, even with essentially tail, not tailwind. We can still land on runway 18. I mean, you know, I could do 3.6 just for a bit of entertainment purposes, but you know, we could still do that, which is the important thing. How much to Tower Easy 9 for Alpha Charlie, requesting clearance to Calvi, stand 6.
Easy 9 for Alpha Charlie, Manchester Tower, hello, report aircraft type.
Sorry, yeah, we're at 320.
Easy 9 for Alpha Charlie, thank you. Click Calvi, Istanbul 1, Romeo departure, squawking 3377, information, Lima QNH 1011.
Thank you, QNH now 1011, Sample 1 Romeo, and squawk 3377, ECE 394 Alpha Charlie.
Easy 9 for Alpha Charlie, correct.
Come on. You should be on anyway. 377. Done. There's Samba 1 Romeo, which is, there we go, it's in there. Stop altitude of 6,000. It's 5,000. So. Made by Airbus, yeah, I think it is. Right, come on, one more person.
2E6 Hotel Lima ready for taxi.
2E6 Hotel Lima, taxi, holding point Juliet, 1 runway 23, right via Lima, Papa, Kilo, Juliet.
Taxi to holding point Golf on runway 23, right via Lima, Papa, Kilo and Juliet for 2E6 Hotel Lima.
2E6 Hotel Lima,
anyway, wrap set up,
Juliet.
boarding's complete. Excellent.
Juliet 1426 Hotel Lima.
So do the cockpit preparation
Manchester,
checklists.
good morning. Shannon 7 X-ray stand 206 with Lima QNH 1011. We're at 737800. Clearance to Mittelini, please.
So the aircraft acceptance completed.
Shannon 7-1, X-ray Manchester Tower, good morning. You cleared to Mittelini on the Sun X1 Romeo departure, squawk 5422.
There's nobody clear me, so yeah, cockpit preparation. Aircraft acceptance good, fuel quantity is 9 tons and it's balanced, seatbelts are on. ADRSs, we have 3 in nav, and the Bauer F1s is 1011. Checklist complete. And it's almost within 5 minutes to us for push, so go early. Doors are closed. Now, will the pushback thing work this time? I bet it doesn't. What am I into? No. Ground services. You can go. You can go. If not, do it this way. Blue cheats, that's what I'm waiting for. I need that AIG file, I think, Gav. These aircraft have been a little bit bland. It's almost a bit wet. Do right figures, let's have figures. Let's go back just in case it rains. 126, 140, flex is the same. There we go. At least if it starts raining, we've got wet figures in. Why this? Why? Honestly. I think I've worked out how to use the drone cam as well. Oh, the next one is to can we, I suppose we can do that. How do we get rid of these HUD things? I suppose it doesn't matter if you pause on the ground, you should actually do anything on it. Yeah, I know Nick, but Gav said he was just going to send me a flash drive and I could just download everything he's got, which is probably easier for me. If I've got to read a manual, I can't be asked. I don't do reading manuals. Somebody's pushing. Assistance options, user experience. Yeah. Assistance options. User experience. Instrument head-up display. off. That'd probably work. Apply and save. There we go. Cheers, Nick. Well done. See, I never would have found that. I'd have been fumbling around for bloody hours. Just ask the missus. So yeah, we can do drone cam. I literally played with this at Calvi earlier just to make sure the scene was a short kiss. Ah, there we go. Now, how do you go up elevation-wise? Actually, you just can't use the mouse. Somebody will say this is me now, just sort of going around in VATS and going across the airport. Does look very good though. Is this the this is the Mako one, I think, isn't it? Mako scenery, which is very good. It looks just like Manchester. Does it have the "We Love Manchester"? Yeah, of course it does. That could do a bit of a clean by the looks of it. Anyway, how do I get back in the field? Oh, there we go. There we go, there's a load sheet. Good. No, that one. Right, what we got? 0 fuel weights. So 0 fuel weight is 100 kilograms more, but takeoff weight 62.9, so yeah, that's all within 250 limits. 250 kilograms, that's fine. And so fuel weight is 30, so again that's 0.2 difference, that's fine. 28.2 is the trim. Good, so we are ready to go. Accept that. What's the time? So we've got 11 minutes to go, that's fine. Excellent. Now, how do we get back in there? So I've got to reset position. Right. I'll do that again. Right, and we are ready to go. Is this going to work? Plan. I bet this won't work again. Wait, no, I don't have AH, not yet. Not yet. One day. Manchester East 4 Alpha Charlie, stand 6 ready, push start.
Stand by.
No. Go off unicorn. Manchester ground, tower East 4 Alpha Charlie, stand 6 ready, push start. Is he gone?
Sir, hello again, Easy 211 approaching Juliet 1.
Easy 211 Manchester Tower, hello again. Via Juliet 1, runway 23 right,
Okay,
surface wind 230 degrees 13 knots, clear takeoff.
Ground equipment is removed.
Clear takeoff, Juliet 1, Easy 211, thank you.
Parking brake set, lifting the aircraft.
Manchester Tower, EC94 Alpha Charlie, ready, push start.
We are cleared for start and push.
Easy 94 Alpha Charlie, Manchester Ground is now land on contact Manchester Ground 12850, see you shortly.
12850 is EC94 Alpha Charlie. Right, you can go for seconds.
Please release parking brake.
Shut up. Was it 125?
Please release parking brake.
Just a ground EC9 for Alpha Charlie, stand 6,
Please
push to
release
start.
parking brake.
Alpha Charlie, down 6, push and start, it's approved, face down.
Push start, proof, face south, EC9 for Alpha Charlie. Right, before start checks,
Please release
parking
parking
brake is on, takeoff data is confirmed, windows are closed, PEDs are flight mode,
Please release
doors
parking
are
brake.
closed, and arms, and the beacon is on, parking brakes off.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
Ah, it works. Calvi. Ah, lovely. Well done, Captain Rish. Right, anyway, engine mode selector is starts. It's looking good. Amber Cross is starting one. Shall I do single engine? No, I can't be bothered because it's a complicated taxi and it's not an awful lot of time. I think that's about a minute late in the end. Never mind. Morning, Dan.
This is 7 Alexa, hold Juliet 1, contact Manchester South, 18.625, goodbye.
Sort of hold to the 1,
One
tower
started,
1865,
started.
thanks for by Channel 7 Luxury.
I need these charts because I can't remember where I'm going.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Keep parking brake sets.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Ground. Startup is complete. You may disconnect.
Looks good.
Roger. Good engine start. Cleared to disconnect. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Ground. Seabird 86, request pushback.
Seabird 86, report your stand number.
Stand 5-1, Seabird 86.
Seabird 826, squawk 7677.
He's gone.
Squawk 7677, Seabird 86.
Status. Good. Okay, they'll start checks. Anti-ice is off. ACOM status is jets. Pitch trim is 28.2%.
826, thank you. Stand 5-1, push and start approved, face west.
Push and start approved, face west, Seabird 86.
Ground EC9 for Alpha Charlie, ready for taxi.
Nice off Charlie, roger, taxi Juliet 1, please see right by Papa, Kilo and Juliet.
Juliet 1, Papa Kilo and Juliet EC9 for Alpha Charlie. So, back that.
Ground ED Kilo stand 4-liner at Airfield safely responsive requesting to call.
Taxi lights off.
Easy 8 Tesla Kilo, march to ground, hello, click Cork, Sunday 1 Romeo, correction aircraft 1 Romeo departure, squawk 2730.
Clear Cork, squawk 2730. Could you just say again the rest, please?
1 second.
The aircraft 1 Romeo departure.
That was fine.
ED
Plug the phones in.
sorry, I'm having a problem here. I have to disconnect.
There's a tax for you as well. So basically you could Cork, aircraft 1 Romeo departure, the squawk 2730.
Manchester Ground, good morning, ZZ207 at gate 24, aircraft type A320, requesting IFR to Edinburgh, please.
207 second.
Just at gate 24, requesting IFR to Edinburgh, if you can please.
Report to aircraft type.
Oh, it's the A320.
207 cleared Edinburgh, Paul 5 Romeo, Squawk is 5662.
Cleared to Edinburgh, Paul 5 Romeo, departure, squawking 7662, easy 207.
207 correct. I need the 8 Hotel Kilo, I need to read back.
Okay, I've had the 3 minutes.
Easy 8 Hotel Kilo, clear to Cork, Elka 1 Romeo, departure, squawk 2730.
It's 8 Hotel Kilo correct.
Flight control.
Ground, speedbird 826, ready for taxi.
Left.
So 86, roger, that's the Calvi Golf 1.
Neutral.
Say again,
Fella.
speedbird 826.
Hold Golf 1.
Neutral.
Roger, up Golf 1, speedbird 826.
We're done.
That's 86, once the EasyJet A320 has passed from right to left on Juliet, you can taxi Juliet 1 behind Romeo Juliet.
After the EasyJet passes right to left, taxi to Juliet 1 by Juliet, speedbird 826.
Okay, taxi
Land off
flight
Hold
controls.
Juliet 1, contact
Checked.
Tower 18625.
Juliet 1, Tower 11865, easy enough for Alpha Charlie.
It's 18625.
1865, easy 9 for Alpha Charlie. Yeah, taxi checklist, flight controls check, flap setting is config 1. FMA, climb out blue, 1FT2. Radar predict the wind shear is on. ECAM mode, take off no blues, and the EFBs are stowed and disconnected. Tower East 9 for Alpha Charlie, approaching Juliet 1, ready for departure.
Easy 9 for Alpha Charlie, Manchester Tower, hello. Via Juliet 1, runway 23, right, the surface in 230 degrees, 13 knots, clear takeoff.
Clear takeoff 23 right, East 9 for Alpha Charlie. Good, let's take off clearance. Slots can go on. Bridge looks clear. And line up checklists. Cabin is secure for takeoff. Takeoff runway 23 right, full length. Takeoff confirmed. TCAS is TAR8 and PAX 1 and 2 is off. Let's go. Quebec 68 SRS runway.
Hello, Seabird 826, holding at Juliet 1.
Seabird 826, Manchester Tower, good morning, view Juliet 1, line up on way 23 right.
Fine, Juliet 1, line up on way 23 right, Seabird 826.
EV 95 Alpha Charlie, nothing further for you, money 2, you come 122 decimal 8, good morning.
Thank you very much, you come 122 decimal 8, thanks for service, second 18 approach. Let's climb. So, SB, flap 0. Flap 0. Temperature is good. Set across Jackson 200 blue, climb.
There's 826 runway 23 right, surface wind 230 degrees 13 knots. Clear takeoff.
Good for takeoff, runway 23 right, 826.
Landing lights can be retracted. Be released. Let's clear up. 36. Okay, let's go 37 then, because we should be able to do that. 37.
Manchester traffic, Seabird 86 on Samba 1 Romeo departure, climbing flight level 190 Manchester.
Just realised I didn't actually read the departure brief, did I? But we sort of knew what we were doing. Why is there traffic there? That was Calvi away. It's to release the cabin crew criminal. But there's many ways. You can either do it by the seat belts, tell them over the PA. It's fucking Ryanair, isn't it? Of course it is. It's always a bloody Ryanair that gets in the way. Well, I'm not paralleling your track for bloody 40 odd miles, mate. So. To bloody get out of the way is fucking Ryanair. That's it. That's why I'm on a heading. So I'm going to be behind him now. So basically, I've just reduced speed to increase the vertical climb, to get a bit more height over this guy. And now I've got a bit more height. I can turn behind the guy, go back towards track. Otherwise I would have had a TCAS probably. As it stands, I might still get a TCAS. It should be clear. Is it true if you fly for your airline outside of work hours you could be set? If you fly specifically, I mean you're supposed to ask for a permission. You know, if you're doing, if you did like 3 or 4 hours a year in a general aviation aircraft, then I'm going to sack you for that. 'Cause it's all to do with your hours. You know, so you've got a maximum number of hours of 900 hours a year. So you know you're not supposed to be going over that. You know, if you were flying, you know, another 10 hours a week or something for some other commercial operator, yeah, you probably could be sacked for that. But you know, if you're doing like a couple of hours here and there, I doubt it. But yeah, technically you are supposed to tell them if you're working or doing more hours somewhere else, even if it's just general aviation flying. It seems to be enough. It's going to go off. It's annoying that you've got to tell them. I mean, I don't have time to fly outside of work. I don't have the money to do it either, so yeah, you know, it's not really relevant for me, I suppose. If I had enough money to fly for pleasure, I wouldn't be working for an airline. Put it that way. Yeah, I know criminal this probably wasn't a real world flight, but I mean, to be honest, I'm not even doing real world flights. I'm just doing something that's a bit more interesting. Just began over Luton, Heathrow, Gatwick, and crossing the Channel. Here's the Channel there. Just need some air traffic controls. Come on now. It's a bit quiet. Behind us, Luton will be down there somewhere. Oh, you can see it. Oh, you'll be pleased to know as well, my PC seems to be fine now. Yeah, you know, I said it was taken off yesterday. It didn't sound like it was very good. It sounded like it was going to explode. We discovered so between Dark and myself, Dark and I, that there was a cable underneath the GPU, and it was it elevated slightly into the fan. So that was why it's making such a horrible noise. But unfortunately, I managed to remove said cable away from the fan, and it sounds like it's a lot better now. In fact, Dark might be quite interested in so look at the task manager. I mean, people will be able to know this better than I am, but so CPU, memory, 60, very high power usage is very high for the simulator and OBS. However, performance, the GPU is only at 68 degrees. Memory's at 67%. So it is working hard, but I think it's doing okay. Dan, in real life, would you be paired with any random partner? Do you have a regular night flight? Like you had a new guy? No, not really. I mean, it depends. It depends on the airline you work for, the base you're at, and you know that really sort of determines who you're gonna know. You can work for small airlines, and the smaller the airline is, the less people that work there. So you're going to know people a lot more regularly, and you're probably going to fly with people a lot more regularly because there's just less people to fly with. At larger bases or larger airlines, the chances are you're going to be flying with new guys pretty regularly. But I fly with people I've flown with in the past. I've flown with people that I've worked with in ex-airlines, in previous airlines. So we've known each other for years. Probably easily over 10 years. And know them very well because you've known them for that long, and occasionally fly with them. So you know exactly sort of what day you're going to get. They're good guys, which makes the whole day a lot easier. But even the new guys you fly with, everyone's really good. There's very few characters, I suppose, out there that are a bit socially awkward or just a bit different. But I mean, 99.9% of people are very, very good, and obviously the standard's very good as well. The standards between everybody doesn't really drop. Some people are a bit more capable than others, but everybody's still very capable and very safe, which is basically what we knew after the end of the game. It was 1,000 to go. So yeah, it's not really an issue, and of course it depends on you as well. I mean, don't forget, you can't really do any job if you can't work well with people. Most jobs require you to have a certain ability to be able to work with somebody else and cooperate and work as a team. So you've got to be able to do that yourself, which I'd say again, most people, 99% of people can do that, and can do it reasonably well. Alright, I can go back in charge. Yeah, it's knockout start. Let's go in 4. Now cruise. Is that already on below? Right, there you go, interesting. You see that the Optimus 360, and we're at 370, but we've still got a reasonably decent margin there between VMO, or MMO technically, I suppose, and VLS. So it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 45 knots split, which is pretty good. You sort of want about 10, 15 knots either side minimum. 20 if you can probably, help it. But our recommended max is 395. 395 is really where MMO and VLS is going to pretty much meet together. So we wouldn't want to climb up to 39,000 feet, which is what the plan is, because it's going to get really, really tight there. And if you have any wind shifts or a bit of clear air turbulence, it's going to upset the aircraft quite easily. So having a nice little margin is good, even though we're slightly above the optimum, but it's still pretty safe. Anyway, that's all done. Secondary, I think we've copied that. Yeah. Where are we? Woodley. Woodley says we should be passing it. After about 21 minutes, and we taking an extra 10.5 of fuel, haven't we? So that's easily going to be about 7 tons, maybe 7.1, 7.2 tons we want. 21 minutes, and there we go, so 7.3, so slightly more fuel than what we're planning for. Well above CNR for Nice as well, which is the main thing. And in terms of fuel, we've used 1,500 kilograms, just over 7.3, so 15 on top is it's about 8.9 tons, which again is what we left with, no leaks, and it's balanced. So Gatwick's down here, it's one of the bases. Heathrow we can just about see. I need to see Heathrow actually, because they say it's handcrafted, isn't it? I think they say, so it should be good quality, but then the INI builds, Heathrow scenery is looking very good as well. I'm tempted to sort of do some other flights out of Heathrow, either some British Airways ones, what else do they do, like Scandinavian, Lufthansa I suppose, Air France maybe, so yeah, I could do a couple of other flights from there. So we get some weathers. And where are we going? What's the routes? Approximately. Oh yeah, and there we go. See, first thing to do, select lower speed. There's a wind shift. So there's an interesting learning point as well. There's something to ask a question for somebody. If you overspeed, if you suddenly get a massive change in wind direction and the aircraft suddenly gets up towards the barber poles or inside it into VMO or MMO, what do you think the first thing you should do is? Yeah, I did see that sound, so I was tempted to get it down. Yeah, you can ask a question, Probot. Just feel free. Is it required hoppy because I don't think it's required. I'm fairly sure I registered. Gav walked me through this. To be honest, he's probably a better person to ask. But there's a website I think which you register, and then when you register, you get given a unique reference number, key, whatever you want to call it, and then you copy that key into your Phoenix app, because there's an app that you download which sort of controls the aircraft in one way or other. I don't quite understand how it works, but it sort of runs in the background apparently. So then you install that hoppy code into the app, which then means you can use ACARS. But to be honest, I don't really use it that often. I mean, it's great for CPDLC if there's a controller, en route controller only. Once you use CPDLC, then as long as you've got the controller's address, which you can put into here. Usually, I don't think they have real life address codes as far as I'm aware. I think they use something different. But for London, for example, you would use EGTT, which is the London address code. Then Scottish is EGPX, I think it is. Maastricht, which is sort of off to the east now, sort of Belgian Holland way. That's EDYY, I think it is. And then you've got other areas as well. I think it's LPCC, is it? Was that? I can't remember. But I don't think the controllers online have the same code, so you have to know what they are. Anyway, weather, that's what I want to do. Atsu, AUC, weather. So I've got to look at Gatwick behind us just in case. Gatwick is good, but a broken cloud, but my flight is fine. Southerly, it's fine. Where else are we going? possibly Orly, that'd be good, that's southwest of Paris. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Orly, Lyon, Nice would be good 3 ones to get. Maybe Nantes as well. Paris is good, Cavalcade. Variable, yeah. Two cabin case, Leon's good as well, that's wide open. Nice is also pretty good, slight winds. Well, let's cabin K 30 degrees, that's fine. Don't ask me where it is, I've got no idea. What's the meter saying now? 350 so yeah, we still do that 10 knots. 31 degrees, CB's around now, 015, so yeah, this is going to be interesting. 015. Good, so that's us settled. Done the fuel. Did we actually get a delay code in the end? What's the delay code for your flap? I'm falling off window soon. OC. Decent delay. Too hot. Right, should we have a look at this Calvi brief since we've got quite a long time to do it. Calvi. Right, I'm just going to have a quick read through it first, just to get my bearings. You can look out the window. Not that there's anything to see. Which one's better, that one or that one? That one, that's a bit better. Right, let me have a look at this. guys, I am back. I've had a quick look at the charts, the brief, and yeah, it is pretty comprehensive, but we'll certainly have a good look at it. I'll go through it now in a second. First thing I want to do is see what's in the box. What have we actually got in here? Those. And have Sulu, that's the preferred. And what does that look like? Let's put that in the secondary. Let's see if we can build copy. Let's see if we can have 3.6. Oh no, we're going to need to. That's going to be in the secondary, isn't it? Okay, how are we going to do this? This is what's going to be a bit of a circular approach. see if these waypoints exist. CLI 20. No. Bugger. Okay. See if this one exists. No, that doesn't exist either. For goodness sake. If a 3.6, but that doesn't work. Well, that might work. Right, how are we going to do this? Might just have to be a circular approach. I'm just going to make it really hard because I don't actually have any waypoints in the FMGC, like I should do. So I'm a bit quiet then. I'm just looking at the arrival for Calvi, and it's because I can't see airfield. It's not the most straightforward thing to do, and annoyingly, we don't have a lot of the data in the database that we would normally have. So I'm just trying to work out how we're going to do it. If we're going to land on the 3.6, which is kind of what I want to do, because it might be a bit more interesting doing that. And the weather is, look at it, updating. Yeah, it's right on a 10 knot tailwind, which, I mean, 15 knots is the limits. But, you know, maybe we'll do 3.6, and we can do up to 3. Let's go 350 at 15. Let's go 360 at 15. 60. Yeah, so even with the 15 knot tailwinds, we should be able to land on runway 18, not too much of a problem. But I don't know, there we go. You have to put it in the comments. Do you want me to land on runway 18 or do you want me to land on runway 36? We can do both. 36 is a bit more fun. A bit more fun, it's a bit harder. It's going to require a bit more thought on how we're going to do things. Six. Yeah. Why did I know people were going to say that? Okay. Symmetry. Yeah, I can't put performance in. Oh, that's frustrating. Why is the performance not page not active in flight? Okay. I mean, ultimately we just fly as a circle if we have to. Hopefully it'll be visual. How far we gotta go? 10 minutes. It says 3.6 there. It's 3.6 in the secondary, but should see 1.8. Right, anyway, should we have a chat about it? Are we diverting? Or is it... What do you mean, is it normal? It's not normal. We're not diverting now. I'll do a last little fuel check about Sophill and then we can have a good chat. From plan. So, Sophill. So yeah, about an hour in. It's about 1,500 up on that, 16. So, yeah, 5657 minimum. An hour in, yeah, that's right. 5.6, so yeah, it's still definitely more than we need. Good, right. Let's have a chat then. Let's talk about it in depth, because it's going to need to be talked about in depth. That's only how we're going to do it. So let's just talk about the big picture first. So we've got Calvi here, it's north of Corsica. Bastia, off to the east. It's our commercial alternate really, so we want to divert to if we really need to. We've got fuel for Nice up here if we need to, and then the others we've got Jackal and then Figari at the south here, but this is Cassie as well, so we need to comply those rules. Being able to get in. But we've got a Bastia, we should have the fuel tank if we need to do it. In terms of the actual airfield itself, there's a couple of restrictions on taxiways. So the only one we can use is Bravo, by the looks of it. Bravo, Sierra 1 or Sierra 2. I don't know what width these are, but I think Bravo is probably going to be the better choice. And in terms of the parking stands, we're going to be Papa 4, 5 or 6, one of these down the end. If we do land on 3.6, we have to go all the way down to the end backtrack and then come all the way down. Apparently, I'm sure I read that somewhere. I thought I did read that, it might be in the airfield brief. So we'll only use Bravo. Or maybe Sierra 2. In terms of the approaches, the RMP Zulu is 180, actually the preferred approach. Apparently the localizer has slightly lower minimums. It's got lower minimums, the actual heights, but you need 5.5 kilometres. The RMP Zulu has slightly higher minimums, but we've got 2,400 feet. I don't think it's going to be a problem, so I think it's going to affect us either way in terms of how we can make the approach, but this is sort of the preferred way. Initial arrival is via Nitro, so we've got Nitro and then Morku and then Suka and then Urlu, and there's Suka to Biska. It's basically where the start of the approach begins, and then from here just a level 7, 3,000 feet to the Fox Charlie 1, 8 to waypoint, and then down to the basically Mr. Bridge 1, Charlie 1 and E2. So if an official here, then it's a box So that's the preferred method, and then once we're down by Charlie 18 Zulu, we're just disconnect and just fly this little part officially down to the threshold. But we're not going to do that, or unlikely to do that. Tailwind's already 360 at 10, so it's a 10 knot tailwind. We can do that. The performance is fine, so we could actually land on 1 we could land on a 50 knot tailwind, it'll still be fine. But, you know, we could do the 3.6 just to a bit more fun. We could do the visual approach. Now, there is an RNAV visual approach that basically starts from around here and it goes off, to the west, sort of flies down here over a quarry, and then you fly inbound back in, finals there. But that isn't in the FMGC, and there's also a visual approach as well. But again, the waypoints aren't in, so it's going to be a bit harder, so we'll just have to do officially using the circling procedure. If we do land on runway 18, if we're doing this approach, there's a bulk landing procedure, which as soon as we pass 4 miles inbound on the CLI, so as soon as we're 4 miles inbound, it's then the bulk landing procedure. Any time before that, which is it's basically here. And what it looks like is 3. See, I'm not too sure what distance that is, but it's around about here. As soon as we're 4.1, we have to do the bulk landing procedure off 108, so that's basically straight ahead, climb to 3,000 feet, and then at 2,500 feet, or the departure end of the runway, it's the far end of the runway, it's at a left turn, and then it's at a left turn all the way around to heading 329, and then once we're at 3,000 feet, we can then turn left to Bunax. The important things about that is minimum bank angle of 25 degrees and a maximum 160 degrees turn, 160 knots in this turn. So if we did do a go around, we would do the normal go around procedures, but we would select 160 knots as well in this bulk landing procedure until we start heading the right direction towards Bunax. In terms of the circling approach of 3.6, I think what we do is just do this in track FPA. Once we're visual, just sort of head towards the hills, and then once we're sort of approximately south of this mast, I'd say we're going to head south, and there should be a stone quarry somewhere in this, just to the southwest of the airfield. As soon as we're over the quarry, we can turn left and head back towards the actual runway itself. There's a few major threats to this, obviously. We're going very, very close to the terrain, so we might get some cheap EWS roll-ins. But generally, as long as we can see the grounds, it's not going to be too much of an issue. Pappies are set to 3.5 degrees on 3.6, so slightly steeper approach on the upper end. 3.5. It is suggested to use 600 feet as a barrow if you're going to do the circling approach onto 3.6, because that's 400 feet above the aerodrome, which is basically the stability to for circling approach. So if we do 3.6, I use a barrow of 600. We fly the circuit itself at about 1,800 feet, and then as soon as we're at 600 feet with the barrow, that's our stability meter, which needs to be stable for 3.6 itself. The other visual I can't do because we don't have it in the FMGC. Just move into the slides. Again, if we do a missed approach on the 3.6, we just basically continue the circuit. At any point we lose sight of the airfield, we shouldn't do anyway, but if we do, we just turn left back towards the airfield and just sort of climb in that direction back towards Bunax. Needs to be a maximum 160 knots before we start the base turn. We'll be at VAP anyway, so it'll be Calvi 3 gear down as we start the circling approach. We might even do flat 3 landing. Yeah, flat 3 landing would be pretty good because that way we don't need to configure anymore. We'll just fly this and gear down in flat 3. should just make everything easy. Now we've just got the landing checklist to do. So maximum 160 knots as we start the base turn, about 1700 feet, 1800 feet as we'll take this downwind leg, and then we'll start turning lefts as we're over at the quarry. And then we should be approximately 600 feet as we start the final leg into the engine runway itself. That's pretty much it. We might get some EGPWS warnings around here as soon as we're visual and sort of disregardable. Go around, so you have to go around just straight ahead and then left turns on balance. I think that is more or less it's covered. So we can look at the brief again. Daytime only crosswinds. I don't think crosswinds going to be an issue, but if we land on 3625 knots, the gust included is maximum crosswind. And then we've said EGPWS must be opposite both reverses, which is fine. We've discussed the terrain, discussed the bottom landing procedure for runway 18, that's carrying straight ahead, basically 2,500 feet, and then a left turn up to 3,360 knots, so we have to make sure we select that in the go around. There's a bit of a downslope if we land on 3.6 as well, so it may look like we're going towards the end of the runway. On the downslope if we land on 3.6. So apparently crews have reported 4 whites since we turned on final. Should be 3.5 degrees, so yeah, we'll keep an eye on the pappy, so we may get 4 whites as we start turning. Yeah, that's due to the 2400 gains based on touchdown zone elevation, so we've discussed about 600 feet in the barrow. Might be early run-out calls, 1,000 feet, 500 feet, due to the terrain profile. And yeah, it's got the 2% downslope, which gives false visual impression. Terrain must be displayed on 1ND. So, as I think weather doesn't really work anywhere else to read on my side. In terms of the management and guidance, we don't have any of those waypoints. Nuisance EGPWS terrain alerts push response may be triggered when reaching the downwind end of downwind engine base leg. So they must be obeyed unless meeting the conditions around there, which is effectively dual as we're around VMC. You can disregard them. So yeah, that should be more or less it. So it's an interesting one. It's going to be interesting to fly it. I think what I plan to do is there's my approach charts. So effectively I'm going to level off. So we'll just do this we can do this in probably final lap all the way down, and then there we go, so circling is 1700 feet, so I'll probably level off at about, yeah, probably 1700 feet is fine, that's minimum, and then as soon as we've leveled off we can activate the secondary, and I'll probably start turning inbound for the down leg in this bay, so once we've passed here slight right jink down here and then downwards, main towards the quarry, should be visual somewhere around here, and let me turn it around. it's quite complicated, Crumpet. The problem is I've got obviously I've got real world proof in front of me, and the real world charts, or our company charts at least. And there's a lot of information. There's a lot of good information in there. That's really going to help out flying the aircraft effectively. One of the approaches you can do is an unofficial approach, and you can effectively leave that in final app. As long as you're visual at all points during the approach, you can just leave it in managed approach, which is final app in the FMA. The problem is Navigraph and whoever it is on the database and the information that we have in the simulator doesn't include those approaches, nor does it include the waypoints, which is a bit frustrating that are used on this approach. So I can't even put the waypoints in manually and effectively just sort of fly it in a selected mode like a track FBA, and just aim towards those waypoints that exist. I mean, there's a beautiful waypoints on the official approach called Quarry, spelled Qwory, which is where a stone quarry is on the side of the hill. But that's not in the database either, so I don't have any lat coordinates or anything. I don't really have any way of even programming it, because I don't know exactly where it's going to be. So I've just sort of effectively got to fly it manually, which is not too much of a problem. Provided we're visual, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to fly the approach, let it do its thing, and then as soon as it's sort of visual, just sort of north of the bay, then we can start flying this officially off to the sort of west hand side and just flying this sort of valley here. The quarry is pretty much a beam. The high point's there, I believe, so the quarry is about there, I think. Just about a different colour. So yeah, that should be the quarry. And then from there, all we're going to do, effectively what we're going to do is we're going to sort of go down here. We'll level off basically about 1,800 feet, 1,700 feet I suppose. So that's circling minimum. There. And then we'll just carry on flying towards the Air Force, make sure we've got everything inside. And then at some point we'll just pull off to the right. This mile should be actually 700 feet. It's not actually on the chart, but I've got that one, I think. So yeah, fly from this direction. And then fly downwards towards the quarry, and then just back in and do a base turn there. Could you lower the sim volume or high or mic? It's really hard for non. I could try. Hang on a minute, Christian. Let me know if that's better. It doesn't, I can't hear any difference, but hopefully that's quieter. The sim volume is quieter. Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if it's any good. So again, it's 177. No, you've deleted my annotations, you bastard. Okay. Now let's write this down. Write it down or something. It's downward is 177. 357 inbound. VAP. Flat 3. Is that any better, Christian? Maybe I'll move the mic a little bit closer. It's lunchtime then, okay, get out lunch. Couple of things, so Steve, VNAV member temperature -20, it's not going to affect us at all, it's not that cold. Don't think there's much else to say. So we've got about 20 minutes, so we go down. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go off the air for a second. I'm going to make myself a sandwich before I go down. And so then we're pretty much ready, so Mike's coming off. Yeah, right, back on. Got a ham and Mexican cheese sandwich. Is there any documentation on flat free versus? Not really. 36 is fine with that. So let's go flat 3 over there. The other thing I want to do as well is, this is quite a good thing for circling approaches, is you need to be stable at 400 feet, but you also need to be stable with 30 degrees on the runway. So it's sometimes quite good to put lines either side of the 30 degrees. So the inbound is, what is it, 177, so what's that? 147 degrees. So reciprocal, might be the reciprocal of that. Let's have a look. What's it telling me? No, yeah, no, 147. And the other one is someone's 1819207. So what you can probably see there is there's radials being drawn from the threshold at 30 degrees. So when we do the circling approach, we come down here, we have to be stable once we're within these 30 degrees either side of the runway. So that's just another sort of visual representation really of, just lets you know when you're in that 30 degrees either side. Yeah, sorry, it is muted. Crumpet, so I'm just eating my lunch. I don't think you want to hear me chomping on my sandwich, so it's just... I'm just muting it for a second just while I finish my sandwich, just so you're not going to hear me masticate on a bit of bread. Stand by. Right, finish with sandwich. Some about maybe. Yes, Velux. I think I do cap it. That's just on recommendation of Gavin. I think you don't really need any more than that. I don't think. And I'm sure the system is coping okay with that. So I mean, the performance seems fine. It's never really been that laggy. Not for me. But I suppose I haven't seen horrific weather yet. The other thing I forgot to mention on the brief, I suppose we can go through a bit of a brief anyway, just sort of, final sort of overview of what we're doing. In terms of all the big stuff, the weather's fine. We've looked at this, we've looked at landing on the tailwinds. We can land up to 15 knots tailwind on runway 18 if ATC came along and gave that to us, we could do it. But just for the stream and a bit of fun, we're going to see if we can do it on 3.6. A few CBs around in the area. Now, normally you probably won't take the aircrafts without a weather radar if there's some CBs, but there we are. There's only a few, so we should be able to visually miss them. The aircraft's all good, apart from the weather radar not being there. There were some restrictions for Calvi itself. It said the EGPWS system, all of this needs to work. There's no failures, so we know that works. The thrust reversers needs to work as well, and we haven't dispatched from the thrust reversers, so that's all fine. No times, nothing really to affect us that we saw earlier today. The threats, we've kind of discussed the main ones, because it is quite a difficult challenging airport. It's Cat C. Lots of sort of threats, I suppose, in terms of terrain. There's lots of terrain around. How we're going to fly the approach is certainly a sort of a threat as well. Missed approach, if we did a bulk land, if we were landing on 18, we did a missed approach. After this waypoint here, we did the bulk landing procedure, so sort of straight ahead, 2,500 feet, then a left turn, back, 329 I think the heading was, and then back towards Bannocks, climbing to 3,000 feet. Maximum 160 knots as well, so if we did do a go around, it's go around flaps, bring the flaps up, pitch the aircraft up, Manto, Aggressor-S, nav, it may say go around track potentially because we're past the approach point by the time that happens. If not, we just pull head in, pull speed at the same time, 160 knots, and get positive climb, gear up. And then as soon as we've got 2,500 feet, we can make a left-hand turn back to 329. So that's a bit of a threat if we're on 3.6, what we're doing. We're going to do this approach all the way down to the missed approach point, level off at 1,700 feet. So this has to be a stabilised approach as well, so we're going to get level here at 3,000 feet. And we'll have gear down at about 11.3, and so 2 miles from the FC-18 waypoints, so gear down, then 1 mile flat 3, 180 knots, maybe flat 2 somewhere around here, Biscuit, which I actually think is in the flight plan, so maybe 5 miles before this waypoint. Down to 1,700 feet, and then we'll just fly the rest of the circular approach in track FBA, and I'll just visually manoeuvre our aircraft off to the west around this sort of valley. There's a quarry somewhere around here, 1,700 feet minimum all the way down on downwind, and at this point we'll start our left hand turn back in for final. Probably at some point around here I'm going to have to activate the secondary as well, and annoyingly, because I can't put the perf in the secondary, oh no I can. Okay, that wasn't there a minute ago. Excellent, now I can do it. So 1015. I don't know why this didn't let me do this a minute ago. 31 degrees. 360 at 10. Which is in there. Barrow, we're going to put 600 feet. We're going to put 600 feet in because that's 400 feet above the runway, which is the stability point for a circular approach. Flat 3. Speeds haven't really changed. I've adjusted thrust acceleration attitude to 2,500 feet across the boards. Don't really need to do that for runway 36. It's not quite so critical on that, but if we did a missed approach off runway 18, you've got to climb to 2,500 feet, and then once you've climbed to 2,500 feet, you can start the left turn or the departure end of the runway, which is this point, whatever comes first. Now, if you did a missed approach here, you probably get to 2,500 feet first. If you didn't bolt to land in, if you got to the runway, you wouldn't be doing that because we're doing 3.6, but if you did, say for example did a bolt landing from the threshold, you would get to the departure end of the runway first. So you would turn as soon as you're there, but I'd want to keep the thrust on for as long as possible. It's 2,500 feet, and then bring the thrust off. And then once we're 3,000 feet, we can turn up to balance. So that's the rationale for that amended go-around, thrust reduction, acceleration attitudes. So yeah, we're going to do that once we land. We've discussed flap 3, medium order brakes should be fine. I probably might roll to the end. I thought I actually put it in the iPad. I thought it said somewhere, I read somewhere that you can't do. You can only turn around at the turn pads at the end. Let's have a look. Okay, maybe not. Okay, maybe we can just turn around, we can slow down. It's 45 metres wide, so we can do a 180 on the runway without any problems. So yeah, we can do that. I'll get back to that in a minute. Felix, so that's discussed. Those are the threats. We've kind of discussed how we're going to do it. Stabilised approach off runway 18, and then level off at 1,700 feet to 1,800 feet, 100 above, push to level off. Fly the rest visually and track FBA, sort the secondary out, activate that, and then just land on runway 36 visually. So pretty much all set up in the box. There's the missed approach for 18, 185 knots in the first turn, which is, yeah, basically S speed, so that's fine. Right navs, haven't got anything there. Runway 36 the ground distance, in case we need it, perfect, all set up. Let's go a bit faster, 270. Fuel, quite an important thing, we've got loads of fuel in extra hours, we've certainly got enough fuel to give it another go. If we can't get it on the first bridge, we need to know why. Is it weather? Did we lose sight of the runway at some point? If we lost sight of runway 36, either downwind or any points after that, you know, maybe there's some CBs around, maybe we consider leaving that. That's not 1.8, so we've got enough fuel to give that one another go. And then certainly if we can't get it to off CBs just in the way, then we can certainly consider either going to Nice or Bastia. We did have the weather for Bastia, and that was fine as well. Received. So there's Bastia weather, Cavacay. A few CBs around. There's probably more inland, to be honest, actually on the coast. So yeah, we could certainly go to Bastia as well if we needed to. Secondary is runway 36. So once we're downwind, in fact, I'll just clear all of that as we've gone. So I can activate this once we're downwind. We've got the sensor fix there. And the perf's disappeared again. Oh well, might have to put perf in again downwind, but we'll have time to do that. That's pretty much it. I don't think there's much else to say. Any other questions? What's your favourite approach in real life, Alex? Top of drop as well. That's a good question, to be honest. I'm not too sure. I quite like pretty approaches. Croatia's always quite nice, going to there. Greek approaches are usually quite good fun because they're usually a bit more challenging. Let's just go to about 10,000 feet to start with. It's thrust down with 7 flight, 100 blue. 100 miles or so. So that's looking good. 107's the runway, yeah. Well, anyway, I hope everybody's enjoyed that. I hope everyone can hear me. I have to get people. Christian, I don't know if you're back, but can you hear me okay? Can you understand me? Am I talking too fast? Am I waffling? Am I not making any sense? It's just a normal sort of day for me, really, where I just talk a load of crap. Just thinking Monaco. Is that Saint-Tropez Airports? Nice is down here. Now there's Nice. Somebody's just taken off. Sounds good to me, quite a bit good. I'm probably not going to be able to... Probably not everybody's going to have perfect sound, I don't know, so... Good, Nick, yeah. Well, hopefully for most people it's good. Nice. I need to do a Nice stream. When the weather's good for 2-2, I'll see if I can do one, because 2-2 is always good fun. You know, it's a bit more interesting than 0-4. 0-4 is still really good, but 2-2 is definitely... There's a few more things you need to do. You know, there's been a bit of a problem as well. Like, I know historically we set off a few FDM flags where people have got too low on the sort of base turn, and you've got to be at 1,000 feet at a certain point, and it's just it's not been the best flown approach from our airline. So yeah, it'd be nice to do a stream on that one when we do 2-2. Down on profile, pretty good. Below profile. Speed descents. It might be a bit low on the profile. Was nasty 39 and about 4.8, so I'm sure that's fine for the fuel. Yeah, that's 4 tons. Yeah, we're probably well above what we need. Sounds good for you, Mark. Good. Yeah, it seems most people are probably okay. It's maybe just the Germans don't understand me. Sorry, Christian. And thrust idle. Well, what is quite interesting as well is I've done, 3 flights now, proper streams, and I still haven't had a failure. So, I'll probably set it now when we get something. Yeah. It'd be interesting when I actually do get a failure. starts raining. Yeah, they're still good. It's dropped off a bit, still 30 degrees, still 1215. Traffic EC94 Alpha Charlie, we are 70 miles to the west of the airports on the True to Lima arrival, and we'll be doing a circling pressure on 336. This is where I should have had the replay thing installed. Can I ask about holds? If you are hold and you hit exit, will the plane fly direct to the next way on the flight plan? Does it? So, yeah, let me sort of put it in for you to demonstrate. Where's the holds on here? Early, as I say, I'm holding Norca 124 Norca. So hold Norca 124 right. So, yeah, basically you're just going to go round and round and round in circles all day long whilst this is in the FMGC. Usually ATC say at some point, are you all cleared to the hold's cancelled or whatever, and the minute you say the hold is cancelled, even if you're sort of halfway through the initial turn, all you've got to do is press immediate exit. And it's deleted it now, but it would just continue that turn all the way around. It would just do 360 degrees, and then it would just carry on with the flight plan. So that's usually the easiest way. You just go immediate exit, and it just carries on around. It goes back to where the hold was, and then it just carries on the flight plan. There is, I think, if I remember, say it again. I vaguely remember there being a way where if you didn't do immediate exit, you could do something else and it would just carry on flying the complete hold. So they might say, right, next time you're over the hold, carry on with this thing, so you would still fly the entire hold and then just follow out that sort of instruction. But more often than not, if you're in a hold of ATC, you get halfway round a turn or somewhere and they just go, right, hold's cancelled. After Norca, fly heading, 150 degrees or something like that. So you can just press immediate exit and then just follow that sort of instruction, if that makes sense. Right, so let's get down to 3,000 feet. Is 1015. So KH 1015 is cross-checked, and we've got 3000 blue. And wanted 3000s by early, if I remember. So certainly from there. From Iski. Seems to think it's a mile. Whiskey. Yeah. Must put the right bloody waypoint in, doesn't it? So that completely messed it up. That's completely messed it up. So, okay. Let's not do that then. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. That's better. Alright, just don't play with it. Whiskey is there. Whiskey wasn't there originally. Oh, it's gone. There we go, 3,000, that's better. Missed a large part of the stream, Lantern. No, we're going to do 3.6, Barry. Yeah, there's no procedure in Navigraph. If you listen back to my brief, you might sort of hear it. Our company iPads, company charts, has got it all it's got. So there's an iron-out visual approach to 3.6, which is what we'd normally do if we can't land on 1.8 at all, if just it was out of tailwinds limits, which would probably be the main reason why we can't do 1.8. So we'd normally do the iron-out visual, which of course you can do that in final app as well, which is a little bit better. If not, there's just a normal visual approach, but it still uses waypoints, which we can program into the FMGC, so we can sort of fly that, always selected, I suppose, maybe might be able to do it in managed sort of lateral navigation. But those waypoints aren't in here, so I can't even do that. So this is like a proper old school circling approach now, where everything's just going to be on sort of track FBA. And I've got sort of less than 30 miles. Yeah, I kind of want to get down really. Let's go to set. Let's go 250. Let's get those bounce on. Let's get these on. And let's run the approach checks. So it's 100. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is basically 100% visual approach. But I mean, it's fine because we're visual. I mean, there's CBs around, but I mean, there's actually nothing there at all. So that's fine. We might get AGPWS warnings. That's something in the brief which is potentially there. Anyway, the approach checks. Barrier Ref 1015 is seatbelts are on. Minimum is 1,700 feet for the RMP Zulu initially, but then it's going to be 600 feet just for the stability criteria later on. Auto brake is medium, and we've got EFBs are stowed and it's disconnected. So the approach check's complete. So I mean, it's going to be quite interesting because it's departing a little bit from what I can do in the real world, because I've got proper charts and proper procedures, waypoints that I can use. But still, it's just avoid the hills. Look out the bloody window. Fly the fucking aircraft. Just don't go near bloody cumulus granite and just fly the aircrafts around so that you put it in the right spot. It's just keep it simple. How long until landing? 15 minutes, I'd say. Let's activate this as well. Yeah, approach phase activated. Secondary, yeah, secondary perfect still seems to have gone walkabouts. Alright, there's no weather either side, so we have terrain on both sides. Everything else is set up. Okay, we see nicely below the profile. So sees the VOS off a little bit. Fox Charlie 18 is at descent point. So that's when we start to go down, and we'll be 180 flap 2 somewhere around Bisky, and then gear down flap 3 a few miles before the final set point. Nice speeds. And Calvi traffic, Key 94 Alpha Charlie is starting the inbounds RMP Zulu approach runway wide south, then the circling approach on 236. Need an emoji for that spamming gas stream. Exactly, Crumpet. Keep it simple. It's a big Cessna. It's still there's no different. It's a bit faster, but you just fly the aircraft. And there is Calvi. You can see it right ahead. So yeah, we could take 1.8 quite easily. Winds are nice and light and variable at the minute. So of course, in reality, that's exactly what we would do. We're not going to make it harder for ourselves. Deliberately, just for the fun of it. But it'd be interesting to see if this wind actually is there on the ground. The fact that it says a few CBs around, I can't see. Maybe this is probably what they're going to be. So yeah, it's probably a bit of a bigger build-up in reality. Anyway, this is all looking good, so ease that off a bit. Solid 0 knots, yeah. It's swapping around a bit, so once we get a bit lower down, you may see it. That there might be the quarry. So we're going to come down here, turn right to a couple of miles of beam, and then probably go down towards the quarry. In fact, I wonder if I can add 2 miles, fix info. Yeah, I wonder if I can add a 2 mile, because 2 miles is usually a pretty good point. So it's that 2 mile range ring, that's usually a pretty good sort of distance, lateral distance for a circling approach. Obviously I'll judge that by eye. It may be a little bit inside that, maybe a little bit outside that. Anyway, there's Bisky, so flat 1, speeds chats. Flat 1. 500 to go. We're starting to see it, outstar, starting to see the tailwind pick up. And flat 2, speeds chats. Flat 2, outs. Alright, good, so we're level, final descent point looks good. We should have about 0.3 in here, which we do, that's good. Approach, we can arm. So there we go, up now, final blue. 2 miles, gear down. Gear's coming down. That's good, so that's the landing configuration done, so I don't have to worry about flaps anymore, it's just a landing checklist, which I shall try and get up if my iPad doesn't disappear. Right, final lap, 3007th missed approach, that's in both cases, either a missed approach off 18 or on 36. Let's go track FP8. So basically what I want to do now is get to 1700 feet level, and then around here we're going to sort of break off to the right, so that might be the quarry there. Possibly break off. We're going to see it visually at some point, and then at the quarry at 1700 feet, find this down into 1700 feet minimum, and then come back for the approach to 36. Zooming a bit. Radio sensors alive. CV in. That's when we're a beam lap. Start our left turn. Our right turn even. It's probably heading about 210 degrees. Right, come on to 100 above. That'll do. FP 0 at nav. Pull you. Level with visual, happy we're going to be visual for the entire
Terrain
approach.
ahead. Pull up.
That is confirmed, so we're expecting that. It's probably a little bit oversensitive.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Okay, that probably wouldn't go off that much.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Okay, let's just turn you off. It's just going to be a nuisance. Right, where's the quarry? That, maybe. Spot the quarry. Okay, so we're approaching a beam, Charlie Victor. So element 2, we'll track about 210, be around there. So activate you. That's it. Perf is all in, good 600, that's now changed. And 177 is the downwind leg. Spoilers, yeah, spoilers would be a good idea. Go there around. Lights. Right, okay, I'll push, might be that, so disconnecting. Flight vents off. Right, I'm happy that's the quarry. That definitely looks like a quarry. So we fly literally towards that. Maintain 700 feet, 1700 feet. But the inbound course, yeah, that's going to be 357. Then over at the quarries, then a left-hand turn back into the runway. We can do the landing checklists. Cabin is secure for landing. Going altitude 3000 for Sandy. Cabin mode is landing no blues. So that's probably the quarry there. So maybe a descending turn. This runway is. There's the runway. Then at 30 degrees. Keep the turn coming around. Overshooting a little bit, correcting.
500.
So a little bit higher on the pappies.
100 above. Minimum.
And stable.
Sink rate.
$50, $40, $30, $20, retard. 10, 5.
Okay, spoilers, reverse green, decel. Good. Yeah, manual brakes. We can technically turn on the runway. I might go to the ends. Yeah, there's that windsock, so yeah, it's definitely a headwind. Cool, well, that wasn't too bad. Maybe a little bit late on the base turn, could have turned a bit more, a little bit high, got the sink rate. But we're sort of expecting those really, as discussed in the brief. Cheers, Amir. Yeah, track eye, yeah, would be good. Or even, what's that thing that Gav adds? The eye... What's me jig? You know, that would probably be quite useful. I mean, the thing is, there's a pillar here, so unless you can move your heads forward or back, you know, you need to be able to see past that pillar. Right, hard left. Flaps done. Let's get back up. Now leave the lights on. That's coming on. It's going to come off. Alright, come on. Done. That can come off. It's off. Alright, just the lights to come. You can see why you're not allowed to take off on runway 18, can't you? I still forgot to do any Unicom calls, never mind. Oops. I'm not sure if this is just a scenery overlay, whether there's, you know, two bits of scenery here, one on top of the other, or whether this is just supposed to look like this, I'm not too sure. Right, so as discussed, we're going in via Bravo. So in via Bravo, and then stands one of these on the end. It's very uphill, this. Did the landing rate come up on that? I'm interested. Did that do anything? Toby, I track it, yeah. I'm not, Barry. No, I was just going to do the outbound. That was it. I think I've got a few other things to do. Yeah, cheers, Arthur. It's not bad for my first time, actually. At least I can say I've done it in the sim. Alright, this should be Bravo here. .268, yeah, nothing special, but you're not after perfectional greasers at these sort of places. That would do. That's off. AP's available. And brake pressure's good. So clear. That will do. It's done. Got brakes on. At 3 minutes. Engine 1 is off. Engine 2 is off. Wheels. Yeah, not too bad. Beacons on. That's all done, that's done, that's done. Position monitor, they look good. 623, that's not so bad. Not that one. Board. Good, thanks so much guys, hope that was interesting, hope that was a bit different. I had inspiration this morning, only because I think Gavin gave me Calgary scenery, I think it was. So I was looking at that last night, the connected community folder. I was thinking, oh, that'd be quite interesting, do Calgary, and then I think Gavin's done it. I don't particularly remember it being a difficult place to go into, and then we've had these new airfield briefs come out for particular places as well, and Calvi was one of them, and then of course there was a bit of scenery for it, and I just thought, oh, do you know what, that looks interesting, it's a bit different, it's somewhere I've not been to before, the scenery looks good, there's a good brief about it, there's a good approach. And it might be something different and something good to talk about, just seeing it's a bit more of a harder approach. So that's why I did it. So yeah, certainly worth coming to. I think this scenery is VFR simulations. It's from Sim Market. I think there might be two. I think there's VFR and then another one. So I don't know which one's better. If you can say one's better than the other, I'm sure there'll be lots of people saying one looks better than the other. But I mean, to be honest, this one looked pretty good. And I wasn't really looking at the airport too much when I was on downwind, more interested in the approach. So yeah, I thought it was good to come and have a look at. And there we go. So thanks very much. Thanks for watching. And hopefully I'll see you maybe next week. I'm working now for the rest of the week, so I won't be doing any more until I'm back next week. I'm back. What day is it? Thursday. Monday. I think I'm back. I've got 4 days off. Yeah, I think I've got Tuesday to Friday off, if I remember correctly. I think the missus has probably roped me in to do something on some of those days, as she always does. But if she's in the office, then I can do something during the day, and then you never know. So yeah, hopefully next week I'll get another couple of streams in, and yeah, have fun. Thanks very much, and see you guys all again soon. Cheerio.